For the first time in 2020, Big East play is on the floor inside the Al McGuire Center in Milwaukee. The Golden Eagles host their conference home opener with a 1-2 mark through 3 games, welcoming in the St. John's Red Storm at 3-1 through their first 4 in conference play. Glad to have you with us this evening, along with my partner Kyle Talabe. I'm Patrick Reed. The last time Marquette was on this floor, they were celebrating a Big East regular season championship. Well, now it's a new look. It's a new coach in Megan Duffy and a new star leading the way, and that is Selena Lott.
For Lott, she's stepped up big time offensively because really she has to. She's been a stalwart defensively in her first few seasons at Marquette, now doing a lot on the offensive end, including leading the Big East in assists so far.
Lott just 8 points her last time out. Megan Duffy and her coaching staff looking for her to shoot more and take more control offensively. She distributes as well as anybody in the league, as Kyle said. And as for St. John's, they're in a bounce-back season with Coach Joe Tartamella. They won 3 in a row to open up conference play. They have new players to lean on in roles this season, including Quidasha Hoppy, who leads the team in scoring at nearly 17 a game.
Coach Tartamella is not surprised by the way Hoppy has played so far this year. He knows how hard she works. She's been consistent for this St. John's team, and that's been the key for her being the leading scorer for St. John's.
Well, tonight is a matchup of friendly coaches. Megan Duffy and Joe Tartamella shared the sideline together at St. John's prior to the 2012 season. A great run of success. The third member of our team, Megan McCune, has more about that relationship.
John head coach Joe Tartamella and Marquette head coach Megan Duffy go way back. Both served as assistant coaches at St. John's and overlapped from 2009 to 2012. In that time, the pair experienced a ton of success, helping lead the Red Storm to 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments. Both Duffy and Tartamella have a ton of respect for one another, consider each other friends, and tonight marks the very first time they're both facing each other as head coaches. Back to you.
Our first look at Marquette's starting lineup for Coach Megan Duffy on the floor with a 1-2 Big East record. They got their first conference win last time out at Providence. Here's her lineup for tonight. Jordan King is the Big East preseason freshman of the year. Her growth continues, but we wait for her to take that next step.
Being a freshman is a very tough thing in high-level Division I college basketball, and she's had quite the opportunity so far, and we're going to look to see what she brings to the table this evening for Marquette.
We've talked about Selena Lott and the assists. Jordan King is the primary offensive initiator. As for St. John's and the Red Storm, again opening with 3 straight victories in league play. A loss to Villanova last time out. Tiana England will initiate the offense for the Red Storm. She has been one of the best sharers in the Big East, along with Selena Lott on the other side.
Coach Tartamella called her the engine of the team. She really gets things going for St. John's, and they have quite the perimeter attack. It's going to be on display tonight.
They are first in the Big East in field goal shooting this season. Marquette is second. Match Forsberg, Brian Enterline, Bruce Morris are officials. And we're underway in Milwaukee. It is the Big East home opener for the Golden Eagles. Marquette in this building this season with a 4-2 mark. St. John's on the road with 4 victories. First attack, Quidasha Hoppy. Inside, it's KB blocked away. That is the impact we'll see tonight from Altia Anderson in the post.
Anderson second in the Big East in blocks and picks up an early one there. Marquette thinks they might have the advantage down low.
Anderson goes to work offensively. Not going to be much of a threat for the Golden Eagles, though that continues to develop for the senior. It's Lott, it's King, it's Van Clunen on the inside. Van Clunen's had a few good games in Big East play coming into this one. Marquette will have 5 on the shot clock.
King starts at the point and tried to feed it into Van Clunen. It wasn't an easy pass, but she was able to get it to her.
Time winding down for Spingola, connects inside the arc. Isabel Spingola, a 3-point shooter. As Alyssa Alston goes to the rack against Anderson, that'll be your first foul. And maybe that's the approach for St. John's, to try to get Altia Anderson in some foul trouble early.
That's a smart play because St. John's is not going to have the advantage most likely down low, but if they can get players like Anderson and Van Clunen into foul trouble, then they'll have some opportunities for their guards to get into the paint a little bit easier.
Emma Nolan, the tallest player on the floor in this group of 5 for St. John's at 6'1". Here's Alyssa Alston at the line. 86 games for the Ole Miss Rebels. Before coming to St. John's, the redshirt senior. One of the best foul shooters on this team. It's been a good team at the line. Third in the Big East, 76% for this season. Alston at 75%. As we see Marquette in its half court, the Golden Eagles share the basketball better than any team in the Big East, and 22nd. Check that, 13th in the NCAA in assists. Anderson will go to work on the short jumper, and it's England with the rebound.
That'll be one thing Marquette will look for a little bit more from Anderson. Some shots like that on the offensive end. It was a good look, just couldn't get it to fall.
Hoppy has had an outstanding season outside the arc. Redshirt junior England with the basketball with 7 on the shot clock. Nolan. Now England sees the time, goes to the cup, and with the left hand scores it.
Yeah, that's what makes St. John's so tough, when England can make plays like that so late in the shot clock and finish around the basket.
That's the experience from England as it's king from straight on. England can be reliable on the glass as well. Alston will take it inside and get the bucket plus the foul.
One thing that Coach Duffy was worried about going into this game was St. John's in transition off the missed three-pointer by King. They just go. Alston all the way and is able to finish, and a possibility for an old-fashioned three-point play.
Well, what a start for Alston and the game plan that Joe Tartamella has had to take it into the paint against Marquette. A good team on the interior. Alston had 10 points against Villanova in a game where the Red Storm just saw a lid on the bucket in the second half. After the intermission, they went 12 of 41 from the floor, but a good start here tonight.
Yeah, they're trying to get that game out of their heads, and they've been able to do it so far in this one in a turnover.
Marquette has had an issue with turnovers this season. Three-pointer from Hoppy, yes! But Dasha Hoppy knocks it down. Megan Duffy needs a timeout.
Yeah, St. John's doing everything they want to do so far in this one in terms of their game plan.
St. John's fast started Milwaukee with an 8-point lead. Kadasha Hoppy, one of the best three-point shooters in the Big East, showing off her game from outside for the Red Storm.
Fans, don't forget to pick up your chapter duck during the first half. Ducks who missed the
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men, for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, metropolitan, and global university, we're at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
Fast start for St. John's, an 8-point lead on Marquette. Kadasha Hoppy with a three-pointer just before the break. Coming in 43% from outside the arc for her this season. Joe Tartamella told us this week that her success is really not by accident as she continues to have a good season this year, coming off a year where she led the team in scoring last year.
Yeah, he couldn't say enough about how hard she's worked on her game to develop into the player that she is, and you have to work really hard to get to the level that she is and continue to improve. I think that's one of the hardest things to do in sports and specifically college basketball, to continue to improve each and every year.
Well-rounded young woman, outstanding student athlete. Good starts. Marquette looking for something positive on this possession. One for their first three shooting. Lots we see for the first time, lets it fly.
A nice little bounce there for the Golden Eagles, and they'll take it as Lott takes advantage of the situation.
Solina Lott, 14 points per game coming in. Also a good shooter from the outside. There's England with a tough shot. KB nearly grabbed it. Spingola has it secure. There's a foul.
Again, St. John's trying to take it to the basket right there. A nice screen by Nolan to create a little bit of space for the Red Storm going to the bucket.
Foul is on Alicia KB, the senior from Philadelphia, who is on milestone watch. She needs 18 points to get to 1,000 for her career. She would be the 25th Red Storm player to hit that milestone. King has time and space, is strong, and Hoppy comes to the rebound. Alston will take her time. Alyssa Alston's been a big reason for the good start, but makes a mistake, unforced. Marquette trying to gather at the last huddle with Coach Megan Duffy. Megan McCune has more on what she heard.
Marquette head coach Megan Duffy a little frustrated with her team at that last timeout, saying we have to be the aggressor. We need to do a better job getting in a stance and moving our feet. We cannot let St. John get out and transition and score. We just have to collect ourselves. And so far doing a better job coming out of that timeout, cutting the lead now to only 3.
Well, that's more like it for Megan Duffy's team. Mentioned Van Clunen has played well in Big East play. Had 19 against DePaul in the opener, 18 against Providence in Marquette's win last Sunday. Hoppy carving through the interior around Van Clunen. King trying to settle. It'll be Marquette basketball.
After that 10-0 run by St. John's, Marquette has answered back to pull within 3. St. John's looking a little frazzled on the offensive end since the timeout called by Coach Duffy. It was a smart timeout to kind of regroup and go back at it.
It's Megan Duffy's first season at Marquette, coming from a successful 2-year run at Miami of Ohio. Led that program to 21 wins, then 23 wins. In her 2 seasons, best run for that program in almost 30 years. As we mentioned in the open, that she and Joe Tartamella time with Kim Barnes-Erico on the St. John's staff. Another Marquette turnover. That's one area of the game that they're looking to improve on. Is we see Coach Joe Tartamella saying his team has been more successful this season because they've had more possessions. They've had a better pace offensively. They've been efficient. They've led the Big East in field goal shooting this season at 48%. So all encouraging signs for a group that's grown up together.
Those are good marks to have for St. John's, and they've been able to, so far in this one, force at least Marquette to make some mistakes.
Room inside for KB. KB coming back from a bum shoulder, taken away, and we see Leilani Correa get her first bucket of the game. Correa has been outstanding off the bench for St. John's as a freshman who was at West Virginia this summer before coming back home. Lott, extra pass inside. Cameron Taylor, no. Van Clunen back up. Marquette trying to make something good happen on their home floor, but it has been a struggle in this first quarter.
Point blank range for Marquette right there, and they couldn't get the shots to go down. I think the game's moving a little bit too quickly just in that possession for the Golden Eagles, especially turning it over in the backcourt as well.
Correa inside the arc. Taylor the rebound.
Instant offense Correa is for St. John's.
Spingola, nice move to step inside and get it from 15. She turns it around for Marquette. Zinglin will go to work from the foul line. Kaby handled the basketball, has the rebound. Correa is up through the contact. Leilani Correa, a big impact since stepping on.
Yeah, you can really understand why Coach Tartamella is so high on Correa. You look at the stats, very impressive as a freshman, but just the way she handles herself out on the floor, you notice her right away when you see her out there.
13 a game for Correa. 4 in this one so far as Taylor hits. Cameron Taylor's got moves. Cameron Taylor represents the future of this Marquette program now.
She's being able to be efficient offensively so far in her freshman year with the Golden Eagles, 52% from the field.
Carving inside, Kadeja Bailey is short. Lott will call her own number. Megan Duffy wants to see more of that from Shalina Lott.
Just carving through the defense, taking what they give her. And one thing that Coach Duffy talked about is Lott knowing when to be the playmaker, trying to set things up for her teammates, or to do something like she just did right there and see some openings on the floor and put up a nice shot and knock down her second three-pointer of the game.
Correa again around Taylor, around the contacts.
Correa's going to be one to watch for many years in the Big East.
Trying to put together her first good Big East game. 7 points against Villanova, 6 against Georgetown is Van Clunen and scores it on the inside.
Conference play is another level, especially when you're a freshman, to get used to the day-to-day grind.
Correa from outside, yes.
She is definitely in the flow of this one so far.
3-time Big East Freshman of the Week is dialed in. 9 points and nearly slapped that away.
An early candidate for Sixth Man of the Year in the Big East.
Marquette's got to settle it down as Lott is fouled. That'll be good. Ashley Hoppy's first.
The tempo so far, you'd have to say, would put St. John's in the advantage, but Marquette can play at different levels. Sometimes they like to slow it down, possibly against a team like St. John's, but so far, high tempo.
Joe Tartamella said in this game against Marquette, we want to pick up our pace and on top of that, make shots. They've done both of those things offensively. But now Marquette trying to get to its pace. That was a bad miss by Spingola. Picked back up by Van Clunen, is up. And she'll step to the line.
Possibly that might have been a pass by Spingola, but her teammate, I think she was looking for Taylor possibly down low, wasn't looking for the pass, but a heads-up play by Van Clunen to track down that errant pass, shot, whatever you want to call it, and get to the free throw line here.
Van Clunen outstanding at the line, 91%. She plays tonight in her 83rd game in a Marquette uniform. Redshirt junior from Mason, Ohio, has had some big moments throughout her career. They're looking for a more consistent game from her. She started to deliver that in conference play.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Obviously, with Marquette losing so much from last year, they're going to have a lot of players that get more minutes. But you have to be impressed with the returning players and what they've been able to do so far, because they played 15, 20 minutes maximum per some of those players, but they've really stepped up and been fairly efficient in their new roles offensively.
Raven Farley picked up the foul at the other end. She's in for St. John's. LSU transfer, one-time McDonald's All-American. Keep your eye on number 4 in red. Lott 2-on-1 inside.
Lott knew exactly what she wanted to do when she got out in transition, read things very well, and finished easily.
8 points for Lott. The lead trimmed to 1 for St. John's. Farley calls for it, tapped away by Taylor.
Good read by Taylor, the freshman.
To King on the lob. In the corner, she can't control it. St. John's basketball. It's Joe Tartamella. He's had better luck this season with a deeper team. Still trying to figure out where they're going rotationally. It's been young at times, it's been experienced at times. See some of the youth there in Emma Nolan, freshman from Valparaiso. She and her identical twin Sophia, part of this team. Valparaiso not too far from Milwaukee. Time for Unique Drake. Unique Drake takes it inside. Drake with the runner.
It's a nice finish right there by Drake off the bench for St. John's. Another solid perimeter player for the Red Storm.
Good early moments for the freshman from Columbia, South Carolina. Taylor looking to post up Farley. And that'll be the second foul on Raven Farley.
Good post pass by Lubo. Freshman feeding freshman right there, as that'll put Taylor at the free throw line for a couple of shots.
Taylor, 6'2", from Peoria, Illinois, has held her own this season. Was impressive in Marquette's game against Mississippi State on this floor back in November.
Checking in for Marquette, number 10, Claire.
One area of the game that Taylor wants to work on, the foul shooting. 52% for the season coming into this one. Good starts. There's a level of fearlessness with Taylor that she has demonstrated early in her career. And they'll look for more of that. Shot clock is off in the final 25 seconds of the opening quarter between St. John's and Marquette. Fast start for the Red Storm, 1-point lead on their final possession. Nolan. Alston had a big start to this game. Hoppy steps out and hits. Good final possession for the Red Storm. Lubo doesn't see the clock. St. John's with a 4-point lead on Marquette. It was a 3-0 start to the Big East for the Red Storm. And trying to pick up a road win in Milwaukee. Good start. St. John's 26, Marquette 22. First quarter in the books.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3. Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together, and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men, for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, metropolitan, and global university, we're at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
Welcome back to the hour. McGuire Center, St. John leads Marquette 26-22 headed into the second quarter. One player the Red Storm who's had a huge impact for the Red Storm is the second leading scorer on the team, freshman guard Leilani Correa. She's averaging more than 13 points a game, all while coming off of the bench. And St. John head coach Joe Tartamella calls the freshman a special player whose skill and athleticism could lead to a pro career. He even says Correa carries herself like an upperclassman. She's certainly been a huge weapon for the Johnnies all season long. Currently, she has 7 points in this ball game.
She's Megan McCune along with Kyle Dolabe. I'm Patrick Reed. Good start for the Red Storm. A fast first quarter. Now Marquette looking for answers on its home floor. St. John's with the 26-22 second quarter lead.
5 turnovers for the Golden Eagles. One thing to watch moving forward. Those are opportunities where you're not able to get shots up for the Golden Eagles.
Correa wild shots. Megan was talking about her good first quarter for the freshman from Manchester, New Jersey. Joe Tartamella trying to keep as much of that talent from New York, Connecticut, New Jersey as close to home as he can.
And he got a very talented one in Correa.
Through the hands of Anderson, 7 to shoot. Lott going to work inside on Nolan with the left hand. That was pretty for Selena Lott. She came down badly on that left leg.
She really spliced the defense there.
Alston.
Right.
Nice look for Alston.
Back at you there. Back and forth we go.
Alston with a big start, 5 points in the opening quarter, now on 7. Defensive impact felt from Emma Nolan.
Looks like Lott is good enough to stay in at this point.
You know, this time of year, everybody's battling through a lot of the same stuff. We see KB right there working back from a shoulder injury. Made even tougher, of course, by the Friday-Sunday splits across the Big East, but everybody deals with the same challenges in this league. Backing in is Van Clunen on Nolan. Rim's not friendly for Lauren Van Clunen.
I think that's what Marquette's strategy is going to be moving forward, trying to use more of the shot clock on their offensive possessions and work it down low like Van Clunen did.
Drake blocked. Jump ball, possession arrow will keep it with St. John's.
St. John's didn't take much time at all. They tried to go right to the basket and get in the paint, try to make something happen there.
Tiana England will check back in. England showing off her wares in the first quarter, just under 5 assists per game. She and Selena Lott, 2 of the best in the Big East, sharing the basketball. St. John's more of an identity this season than they were able to have a year ago thanks to injuries. A fuller, better lineup, better practice, better competition, better results.
Anderson stepped right in front of that pass and just swiped it. And she started her own fast break, and then she got fouled.
It's Quidasha Hoppy's second foul.
That'll be one to watch moving forward here. A lot of time left in this first half.
So Hoppy is off. Raven Farley has a couple of fouls as well for St. John's. Narelle Lubo starting the offense for Marquette. Anderson trying to make more of an impact on the offensive end of the floor. So good on the defensive side. England is caught a little bit, but Alston helps her out. That team shot it fairly well in the opening quarter, better than 55%. Pace, efficiency, all good. The opening was there, and an offensive foul drawn by Anderson.
Another solid play by Anderson on the defensive end for the Golden Eagles. It'll be interesting without Correa and Hoppy on the floor. Who's going to be the main offense for St. John's. They do have 4 players that average in double figures, but on that possession, everybody seemed a little bit tentative to take advantage of the situation.
Anderson drawing the contact. That one of the leftover aspects of Carolyn Keeger-led teams. Of course, she's now at Penn State, trying to get the Nittany Lions team back to where it once was nationally.
Lubo a little bit too aggressive on that offensive possession off the ball. Gets whistled for the foul.
Two for Lubo. Kaby swims right, fakes, fires, is short. Grabs her own miss. Kadeja Bailey working with the screen. 10 on the clock as England sees it. Kaby spots it up and connects. Good possession for Alicia Kaby, who draws closer to that 1,000-point mark.
That's a big shot for St. John's. They're looking for someone to get the shot to go down as Correa checks back into the game. Another little step in there by Kaby, a little jab. Gets enough space to knock down the triple.
Kaby missed some time early in this season. Late November, early December. It was a 4-game run. Last year, 3rd on the team in scoring and taking charge on that possession for the Red Storm. Marquette wants Lott to take charge as Kaby works on her. Lott through the contact, draws the foul.
Yeah, just didn't get to see a lot of this from Lott in prior years, how she can operate with the basketball in her hands. It's pretty impressive, and it seems like she's been sort of waiting to unleash this part of her game and has been able to really put it on display so far this evening.
For those that follow the men's side of the Big East, Megan Duffy has said, we want Selena Lott to be more like Marcus Howard. Of course, we're talking about the nation's leading scorer and Marquette star Marcus Howard. Well, Marcus takes charge. He carries a huge usage rate in most of Marquette's field goal opportunities. They say Selena Lott is every bit as capable of taking control in that way. They're looking for more of that. 5 on the shot clock. Spingola sees it to the paint. Now Anderson, jumper on the way, good. Wow, Tia Anderson.
Good sign for Marquette. Anderson missed her first 2 field goals, but didn't hesitate. Didn't have a choice, really, because the shot clock was about to expire and knocked it down.
A great sign for Marquette to get production from Anderson. Talked about all the other things she does. England palms the basketball as she works right. Will call her own number and connects. Back and forth we go. Tiana England. The focal point of this attack for St. John's.
Big time shot for England. Hasn't been a huge mark from 3-point range, but hit a big one there.
Anderson, short jumper again, strong this time. There's a whistle and a foul on the inside.
Marquette foul 24, Selena Lott, first personal.
First against Lott. Both teams on 3 fouls in the second quarter.
A couple of big threes by St. John's, keeping this one at arm's length now for the Red Storm, as Hoppy's going to be out for a little bit here with her foul trouble.
She's got a couple. Farley's got a couple. Correa has one in the basketball. Trouble dribbling there to the left. Kaby bails her out. There's a foul. And it's Anderson's second. So that will give Chloe Murata floor time for Marquette. Murata has been in the starting lineup 13 times for the Golden Eagles. Megan Duffy calls her the utility player for this team, and she's a player that has a pedigree. It's built for Marquette, but also a lot of talent as well, as Nolan from straight on connects for 3.
Another big 3 for St. John's, if they've been able to extend their lead now to double figures.
This has been a big-time shot-making game for St. John's. They lead the Big East in field goal percentage. Brought those shots from Queens to Milwaukee. A lot on the give back for Van Clunen. And there's a foul as Nolan collides with Lauren Van Clunen. No problem with that extra pass from Selena Lott. That was a good find.
That was a pretty play. It looked like it was going to be an easy layup for Van Clunen, but she got fouled going up. As we take a look right here.
Lauren Van Clunen will be at the foul line when we come back. St. John's, an 11-point lead on Marquette. Marquette trying to cut into a double-digit deficit.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, metropolitan, and global university. We're at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
Welcome back to the Al McGuire Center. At the moment, St. John leading Marquette 37-26 with 4:39 left in the second quarter. St. John head coach Joe Tartamella really happy with the way his team's playing right now. However, on the defensive end, he says to his team, you have to stop fouling at the moment. St. John's has fouled 8 times, and he says everything Marquette has done scoring-wise has been on the interior. We have to limit them getting such close shots to the basket.
Good start to the game for St. John's. They're off to their best start in the Big East since the 12-13 season. That was Joe Tartamella's first at the helm. It was one of 3 NCAA tournament appearances for him and St. John's. Of course, mentioned that he and Megan Duffy a lot of time together as coaches. Joe Tartamella, 17 total seasons at St. John's since he was a graduate assistant. Starting in 2002, he has built this program in his image, taking it over after Kim Barnes-Erico went to Michigan. Megan Duffy went with her before launching out as a head coach in her own right. Lauren Van Clunen drawing contact just before the break. The foul was on Nolan. That was her first. As usual, a good run at the line for Van Clunen, who's had 3 straight games in double figures. 10-point lead for the Red Storm. Correa attacks. Correa with nice touch inside.
It just needed a few seconds to make something happen. Took it right to the rack and finished.
Pace has been good. Decisive, aggressive play offensively for the Red Storm. Joe Tartamella is happy with that as Van Clunen once again will get it. Again on Nolan. Nice move there for Van Clunen on the hook.
Whoa, almost a sky hook. That was a nice shot there by Van Clunen.
This is the offensive game that Megan Duffy wants from Lauren Van Clunen, who was big in Marquette's NCAA games a season ago. England to the rack. England's had some nice moves in this game in her own right.
Yeah, some more space there for St. John's as they're able to find a way to the basket. A screen there by Nolan gives just enough room for England to take it from the three-point line and draw the contact.
It was Murata's first. England had herself an interesting weekend last week. The games against Georgetown and Villanova had kind of a scary, awkward landing on a breakaway bucket. against Georgetown. She got right back up. Joe Tartamella said, boy, it didn't look good from our perspective, but she went out and played 42 minutes against Villanova, 21 points. So no problems for Tiana England, the redshirt junior from Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah, that would have been a tough injury for St. John's to take at this point in the season.
Especially non-contact. Lott on the baseline, a lot of contact there for Selena Lott. High off the window and down.
Has really shown off a lot of different offensive moves so far in this one as she goes baseline and just flips it up with the right hand. That is a tough shot to make.
That's tough. It's creative. Looked a lot like we saw out of this Marquette team the last 4 years. That was Natisha Heidemann-esque.
Definitely a good comparison right there, and Marquette needed a little bit of a momentum shifter.
Heidemann time in the WNBA Finals this past year. And again, this is a new team, new look. Lott, a big part of that. Just 8 points against Providence, 1 for 7 shooting the basketball. So much better game for her tonight as she sits on 13.
Good to be home.
Great to be home for Marquette. First time in Big East play, first time in 4 games. Spingola lobs it for Van Clunen. Van Clunen in a tight space, changing hands.
2 of the veterans hooking up on that one for the Golden Eagles, and that's how you practice it, and you love to see it come together in the game.
It's been a fun offensive game at both sides of the floor. England trying to show off her hands, but dribbles it out of bounds.
Forced, unforced, a little bit of both right there for the turnover, but Marquette grabbing some momentum right now.
Joe Tartamella is like the level that Tiana England's raised her game to, wants it to be more consistent as Murata bulls her way inside. It's an offensive foul, and it's her second foul. And some confusion as the officiating crew has a quick conversation. It's initially pointed offensive foul.
The foot,
and it's going to be Nolan who had the foot out.
Nolan, yeah, definitely was on the half circle in the paint there. Good job by the officiating crew to come together and make the call the correct one right away.
It was an interesting call because Murata didn't have a lot of control when she went in, but you saw that second look, and that's what the other 2 officials saw, was that Nolan got that leg out. There's Brian Enterline, fantastic veteran official. Madge Forsberg, Bruce Morris, the other members of this crew, and that will be a double dribble. Alston can't believe it, but Madge Forsberg spotted that.
A little bit of a delayed call, but it is the correct call made there, as I think a lot of fans in attendance saw that one happen as well right in front of them. Yeah, she put 2 hands on the basketball right there. She lost control.
Totally lost control of the ball.
High dribble.
A pretty clean game for the most part. Rare mistake. Murata tough into the contact and wide.
Murata starting to show herself offensively here for Marquette in the second quarter as the Golden Eagles on an 8-0 run and a chance to get within 2.
Mismatch for England. That's her second foul. And Kyle, what we saw in the first quarter was St. John's trying to get Marquette out of the game plan and maybe surprise them by taking it inside, while Marquette and Megan Duffy with an answer in the second quarter.
Yeah, Marquette has multiple players that can have a height advantage in this current contest, and Murata is one of them as she takes it to the rack in back-to-back possessions for Marquette.
16 paint points for the Golden Eagles to 18 for the Red Storm. Final 2 minutes of an entertaining first quarter in Milwaukee. There's Unique Drake on the line drive. Lob, Spingola, 2-on-1. She'll take it herself. Offensive foul, Isabel Spingola. And that's her second.
That's a tough call right there to make for the officiating crew as Spingola going right to the basket.
And a good job by Alston to stay out of the restricted area arc.
She did,
Outstanding.
But was she in position to take the contact? The contact was there, but for Spingola, what are you supposed to do in that situation? It's a bang play, and Alston did get in position there.
Now Alston at the other end for three, rattles it in.
One of the best three-point shooters in the conference, currently leading the Big East in percentage from three-point range, comes up with a defensive play and then answers right back with an offensive play for the Red Storm.
It's an efficient 47% for Alyssa Alston, and Lott crashing into Alston. That is Alston's first. Isabel Spingola will go off to the bench. Spingola, 4 points. And Lott at the line. Marquette, if there's one area of the game, Kyle, they can continue to improve on, that's their foul shooting this season. Now 8 for 13 in the game, but they came in at 65%, 9th in the Big East.
Yeah, that's definitely an area where you'd like to see closer to that 70% clip.
Especially in a game like this where you're going to take it inside, match what St. John's is doing, you've got to make the most of those chances.
Going to be a lot of close games in the Big East this year.
League is setting up nicely. Correa inside of the arc. Leilani Correa, fast starts, and now 13 for the freshman.
She reminds me a little bit of Carmelo Anthony, the way she can dribble into that mid-range shot so easily.
Ooh. Alston hit the deck hard in the lane. Lott in a big collision with KB. That'll be KB's second.
Looks like Lott, yeah, a little pump fake, and then took the hit. She's taken a little bit of a beating so far in this one. She has missed one game this season.
That was against Northwestern, and a loss for Marquette at home. Selena Lott, well-built, physical, athletic player from the time she stepped on campus from the Capital District of New York. Skying for it is Murata. Tie up, possession arrow keeps it with Marquette. 45 on the game clock, 19 on the shot clock.
Yeah, quite the first half for Lott. Perfect from the field, 5 for 5.
Ultimately, this is where Megan Duffy wants her team to be. An offensively minded group. They've had to rely on hustle. They've had to rely on defense as they try to figure out their identity under the first-year coach of the Golden Eagles. The hook from Van Clunen, short this time, goes off the foot of Murata. It'll be St. John's basketball.
It seemed to be that Van Clunen was surprised how much space she had when she caught that pass, and the defenders were really playing off her. I think it threw off what she was trying to do.
Alston takes it on Lott. Will draw the foul from King.
And what's made St. John's tough in this first half is how many different guards can take the ball to the rack. They've had 5, 6 different players from the perimeter. You see Alston right here, one of them, drawing the contact and going to the free throw line.
Contact came from both King and Selena Lott. It was Lott's foul. It's her second.
That's a big one with just 20 seconds left in the first half for Lott to pick up her second foul.
Lott with 2, Anderson with 2, Spingola with 2 for Marquette. Throw Lubo into that mix as well. Sophia Nolan will see her first action. Identical twin Emma's on the bench. Trouble for Murata, and wins it back, and now has a break. Murata, bounce pass Van Clunen. Nearly a disaster for Marquette on the inbound play. It's Bailey tangled up. Murata takes it away. 3 on the game clock. Van Clunen sees it ahead for Lott. Can't roll it at the horn. That's how an entertaining first half in Milwaukee comes to an end. St. John's with a 5-point lead on Marquette. Lauren Van Clunen saw the time on the clock. Lott was tight to the baseline underneath the baskets and can't make the final play. Halftime in Milwaukee.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, Metropolitan, and Global University, we are at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
One of 4 games around the Big East tonight, an entertaining one in Milwaukee, 47-42. St. John's with the lead at halftime. Big East Fast Break is the weekly women's basketball show hosted by Megan Caffrey and Ashley Leotis, breaking down everything in Big East women's hoops. You can catch all new episodes of Fast Break during the season every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. on the Big East Twitter and YouTube pages. On this week's episode, Megan and Ashley ran around the Big East and hit on every team in the fastest 3 minutes in women's hoops.
We definitely had a lot of fun looking around the league to see what was going on within these first 4 games. And so what we put up were, we looked around all 10 teams. We came away with our biggest takeaways. We have 18 seconds to break each of these teams down. Ashley, you're on the clock to start us off.
All right, we are going to start here with Butler. They got their first conference win this week as they took on Xavier. A big feather in their cap right there. The first one is always one of the toughest. The Bulldogs led for nearly 33 minutes on Saturday, and Naida Caceres, the best day of her Butler career with 23.7 rebounds and 4 steals.
Now, Creighton has 4-time Big East Player of the Week, Jalen Agnew. However, we're going to look at defense for this J squad. They haven't allowed an opponent to score more than 75 points in a game this season. And yeah, that includes the Blue Demons, who are 3rd in the nation in scoring offense, averaging 86.9 points per game.
All right, taking a look at DePaul, the only team left to remain undefeated in conference play. We're going to be taking a look at some of their play a little bit later on, but as for now, they are outscoring every other team in the Big East. Check this, 193 steals in just 15 games. That's leading the conference by far.
Well, the Hornets have been struggling to find their identity this season after they graduated a pair of 1,000-point scorers, if you remember Dorothy Adamako and Deanna White. However, Memphis grad transfer Taylor Barnes has been the answer. She's averaging 13.1 points per game, the only Hoya to be averaging in double figures.
And over to Marquette, their first Big East win. We were just talking about them. We weren't sure kind of how those pieces were going to fit after losing so many seniors last year, Megan, but Playmakers like Lauren Van Clunen, Selena Scott, Jordan King, they are the ones getting the job done. They have a chance to make a big statement this week with St. John's and Seton Hall.
Heading out to Friartown. The Friars are still looking for their first Big East win of the year. Reigning Big East Freshman of the Year, Mary Baskerville, leads the way for the Friars. However, what sticks out about this team is they are tough underneath the glass, specifically their defensive rebounding. They're first in the conference in defensing boards, averaging 28.7.
And over to Seton Hall, a lot of conference play left, but right now the Hall's only conference loss comes to Villanova. And I really like that they had a nice fast start against Georgetown this past weekend, outscoring the Hoyas 23-8 in that first quarter. That is exactly what you need to win in conference play.
Well, the preseason #2 St. John's Red Storm is meeting expectations. St. John's is second in the conference in scoring average, right behind DePaul, averaging 75.1 points per game. And a lot of that has to do with the backcourt duo Tiana England and Kadasha Hoppe. However, this offense is versatile. They are just 2 of 4 Johnnies averaging in double figures.
And Villanova, a very impressive start, 3-1 in conference play. Coming home 2-0 after that New York swing. And I have said it before, Megan, watch out because Kadeka and Seacrest are coming. In just 14 games, they have combined for 533 points. That is insane. Seacrest is first in the league.
Now, first-year head coach Melanie Moore and the Xavier Musketeers, they're still looking for their first Big East win of the season as well. Junior Ariana Gray has 19 career double-doubles, 3 this season, notching a career-high 28 points in the Musketeers' last game against Butler. She's second in the conference in scoring and a key cog for this Musketeers offense.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men, for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, Metropolitan, and Global University, we're at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Five-point lead, St. John's over Marquette at the break. Marquette playing its first Big East home game and trying to pick up win number 5 here at the Al McGuire Center this season. Patrick Reed, Kyle Delabe with you. And Kyle, the first half was a clean first half, relatively mistake-free. A lot of offense in this game as we take a look at our first half stats. Both teams shot the ball efficiently. Both teams made an impact from outside the arc. Both teams finding points in the lane as well. So a lot of different ways to find offense and different players contributing as well have made this a really well-rounded game.
Yeah, St. John's from three-point range was impressive in the first half as they're able to knock down 7 of 8 attempts, and that's really the difference in this first 20 minutes of action for the Red Storm. Marquette had its ups and its downs, but you like what you see from Selena Lott and what she's been able to do so far for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, a lot with those 16 points. St. John's had a lead of as many as 12 in the second quarter, but Marquette started to find its game as they started to go into the paint to look for points, of which they have 18 in this game.
Yeah, Marquette on the early going had trouble scoring in the paint as St. John's really established themselves in that area, but Marquette in the second quarter really picked it up. A number of players were able to hit shots in the paint, including players like Chloe Murata, a couple back-to-back nice possessions with her, and then Van Clunen, of course, with her 13 points in the first half.
The band plays on in Milwaukee. St. John's a 5-point lead on Marquette at the break.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, Metropolitan, and Global University, we're at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope. We believe. And we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
St. John's with a 5-point lead in search of their 4th Big East win of the season. Meanwhile, Marquette trying to get back to 500 in league play. After a good non-conference run, this is going to be an interesting league with teams hanging in that top 70 of the RPI. DePaul is up there at number 10, Creighton right behind them at 16. Marquette at 36, thought to be on the bubble right now for the NCAA tournament. Of course, a long way to go in this Big East.
A lot of tough games down to come for all of these teams in the Big East. DePaul definitely has established themselves as the favorite. They were the favorite in the preseason. That continues as well. But after DePaul, there's going to be a lot of things to be decided.
DePaul is up next for St. John's. If this game tonight is any indication, it should be an interesting one on Sunday. Marquette is back here against Seton Hall. You see Tony Bozella's team at 3-1 in league play. They're getting back to where they want to get to. A lot of similar teams across the Big East. And as we take a look at our highlights in this first half, Kyle again mentioned how offensively minded it was, and St. John's had a fast start to establish themselves.
Yeah, especially with Correa coming off the bench. She's instant offense for St. John's, and Selena Lott really using the inside, the outside, carving up space, taking what the defense has given to her and making a lot of things happen fundamentally, and some nice flashy finishes for her as well.
8 different scorers for St. John's in the opening half. The Red Storm from outside the arc, outstanding. 7 of 8. Marquette wants to tighten things up outside three-point line. Meanwhile, both teams want to continue an exciting first half here into the second, and that comes your way next from Milwaukee. St. John's 47, Marquette 42. Back to the Al McGuire Center after this.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead.
Welcome back to Al McGuire Center. At the moment, St. John leading Marquette 47-42 at the half. I spoke with St. John head coach Joe Tardamello headed off at halftime. He said he's pleased with the way his team's shooting the ball as they scored 47 points in that first half. However, he feels their defense allowed Marquette to get back in the game. He likes the way they set the tempo. However, they have to continue to try to pull away. On the other hand, Marquette head coach Megan Duffy is saying we have to do a better job guarding St. John's on the perimeter. They went 7 for 8 in the first half from beyond the arc. She also said they scored 15 points off of Marquette's turnovers. They have to do a better job taking care of the ball.
Duffy looking on from her sideline, playing her first home game as Marquette's head coach in Big East play. A lot of milestones this season for her with this team. Outstanding in the non-conference. And figuring out in Big East, they have some work to do tonight against St. John's. You just heard from Megan McCune along with Kyle Delabe. I'm Patrick Reed in Milwaukee. Red Storm and Marquette in the 24th all-time meeting between the programs. They split the regular season last year. KB straight on, yes! Alicia KB continues her good play as she inches toward 1,000 career points.
St. John's on fire still from three-point range, 8 of 9 from the perimeter. You just don't see teams hit at that clip for an entire game, so it'll be something to watch.
Inside to Anderson, around KB's defense. Anderson, tough shot, tapped away. Last touch by St. John's will stay with Marquette and 9 to shoot.
You wonder if St. John's will try to up the number of three-point attempts they take in the second half because they've been so effective from there.
Ridiculously effective is one way to put it. 8 of 9. Van Clunen, soft touch. Lauren Van Clunen is 15.
Yeah, Van Clunen and Lott leading the way for Marquette, trying to stay within range of the Red Storm.
Nice game for Van Clunen with 15 points on 6 of 9 shooting. Step back from Hoppy, who spent time on the bench with a couple of fouls. That's a 2 for Kadasha Hoppy.
She joins the scoring for St. John's as she'd been waiting to do that for a long time as she was sitting on the bench.
Lott with an answer. Off of hands, Anderson tries to save it. It'll be St. John's basketball.
What I think I saw there is Anderson colliding with Van Clunen, and that's the reason the Marquette wasn't unable to get the rebound.
Marquette is the best rebounding team in the Big East by a long way. +9 for the season. They try to avoid turnovers, and they do there. They gather the turnover from St. John's.
Both teams have turned it over 7 times so far.
And now there's a Marquette turnover in the offensive foul.
Offensive foul on Marquette 23. Jordan King, first person.
It's the first on King.
Out of a kick out with the knee possibly for King committing the foul.
Hoppy around the screen for 3. 9 threes for St. John's.
This time Hoppy makes sure that she's behind the arc as she joins the three-point parade for the Red Storm.
9 for 10. Off the bounce, Anderson on Farley, count it! Anderson will try to answer the more traditional way for 3.
A premier pump there by Anderson as she uses the ball fake, puts it on the floor, finishes strong with the contact, and goes to the line.
Farley tried to stay as vertical as she could, but shuffled feet coming into Anderson. So that's 3 fouls for Raven Farley.
She has not had the opportunity to be out on the floor very long for St. John's, but she's going to stay out there for the time being.
Just became eligible at the semester mark. They're coming from LSU, so trying to figure out where she fits into this St. John's program, and that's a challenge mid-season. Team has been scorching hot from 3. Hoppy, another from the corner. Team heat check for Kadasha Hoppy. Ahead, Van Clunen. Kick out pass, wing spin, goal at 3. fourth three of the game for Marquette.
And you know the Marquette coaching staff has to love seeing that kick out from one veteran to another. A perfect look for Spingola.
13 assists on 18 made field goals for Marquette as Hoppy takes it inside.
Hoppy not giving up after St. John's finally misses a three-pointer. She has been very aggressive on the offensive end after having to sit so long in the first half.
Lott swims through, bounce pass. Van Clunen will stay with Marquette.
It's a pretty good look there by Lott to try to set up Van Clunen, but better defense by St. John's with the deflection.
Pace has been a factor in this game. Joe Tartamella's team has it where he wants it. Megan Duffy's team trying to answer. There's a lot of contact. It's going to be a St. John's foul on Emma Nolan, who just checked into the game. That is her fourth foul, so she replaced Raven Farley, who had 3. And now Emma Nolan will have to come out. Leilani Correa has to come in. So now Marquette can start to work the paint with Nolan and Farley, both in foul trouble early in this third quarter.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something to watch here moving forward. Does Van Clunen get some more touches down in the paint? Maybe Anderson. And they go to Anderson.
Anderson was looking to kick it out. Will take it up and score it. +1.
And I think that foul was against KB. That's going to be her third personal foul. So KB with 3, Farley with 3, Nolan with 4. All the size is starting to disappear here for St. John's.
Well, we could see in the second quarter that the game plan for Megan Duffy's team started to shift. They were taking it inside, finding success. Now they're putting St. John's in foul trouble. 4-point Red Storm lead. It's England to the cup. That was pretty from Tiana England.
Right back at you. St. John's doing what they do well, taking it to the cup from the perimeter off of a made free throw there by Anderson.
Just explosive to the inside, hit the gas. Now it's King in the lane, was looking for Van Clunen. It's kicked. That will reset the shot clock to 20 seconds. Of course, that's a rule change this season in college basketball, including the women's side.
King trying to create there for Van Clunen as she was coming on the left side with the strong take.
And nearly gave it away. It's been quiet in the turnover game. 7 for St. John's, 8 for Marquette. Spingola, right side, in and out. England, tough shot, won't go. But Tiana England has been fearless tonight for St. John's.
I thought she was going to flip that one in.
Look at her here, my goodness.
On the dribble here.
That is playground type stuff for Tiana England.
That's a horse type play, no doubt about it.
She had 35 points against Marquette in the regular season last year. England really limited in her development by missing her freshman season with an injury. She was an all-freshman in 17-18. Megan McCune has more on the St. John's Star.
Junior guard Tiana England of St. John's coming off a huge 21-point performance against Villanova this past week. And head coach Tartamella says, hey, it's about time. The Red Storm head coach says she's done a great job finding balance in her game, and she's even become a major distributor, averaging nearly 5 assists per game. That ranks 3rd in the Big East.
Kodasha Hoppy, 15 points. St. John's, 61, Marquette, 53. The lead has been as many as 12 for the Red Storm. That was in the second quarter. 10 for Marquette. King around Van Clunen's screen has an opening as fire short. England's lob ahead. Bailey will score it. Good find by Tiana England and Kadeja Bailey at the other end.
Yeah, England makes things happen
Trouble
for St. John's, and now
timeout Marquette. confusion on the inbound play. St. John's with a 10-point lead, trying to get to Big East win number 4.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, metropolitan, and global university, we are at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together, and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
The Big East Women's Basketball Tournament presented by Jeep returns to Wintrust Arena in downtown Chicago March 6th through the 9th. All session tickets for the 2020 conference tournament are now on sale starting at just $50. For tickets, visit bigeast.com/WBB tickets. Along with Megan McCune and Kyle Delabe, I'm Patrick Reed. This has been an offensive affair. Kyle, in the third quarter, the Red Storm have been ridiculous from outside, but also the field in general.
7 for 8 from the field for St. John's, and Hoppy is making up for lost time. She has 9 points in the quarter. She's now the leading scorer for St. John's with 15, which is the usual case for her. She's 5th in the conference in scoring and really making her presence felt. And now Correa on the floor for St. John's as well, as she's going to be looking for her shot in this third quarter.
St. John's has had a good run of success against Marquette in recent years. Again, this is a different look Marquette team, but also it's an improved look, different look Joe Tartamella team as well. As it's a blend of youth and experience. Last year, Asha Hoppy, Tiana England, Alicia Kaby combining for 35 points per game in Big East play. So there's a lot of experience there. Cameron Taylor getting her share of experience in this game. Now Taylor with 6.
Impressive first Big East game at home for Taylor, really making the most of her time.
Hand check for Spingola. On the drive by England. Joe Tartamella seeing good things on the road from his St. John's team. They try to win their 5th away from home. Good starts in Milwaukee.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was gonna spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together, and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men, for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3. Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Marquette has some work to do on its home floor, trailing St. John's 63-55. Kyle, one of the areas the Golden Eagles have been trying to clean up has been the turnover game. They had 26 against DePaul. They've had 6 games of 20 or more. It hasn't hurt them from a numbers perspective tonight, but it's hurt them a different way.
Yeah, they've turned it over 9 times, which at this point in the game is pretty solid so far for the Golden Eagles. But what St. John's is able to do is turn that into 20 points. I mean, that's very efficient, and a lot of those have been 3-pointers by St. John's, and that's why they have such a big number in that area. Marquette with only 5 on their end, and on St. John's is 7 turnovers.
Megan Duffy has said she can live with turnovers as long as they're of the aggressive variety. Lubo walks with the basketball, and that's not the kind of turnover she can live with.
Yeah, that's a bit of a hesitation right there by Lubo, and just commits the turnover. That's hard right after taking the ball right back from St. John's.
But in her case, this is the reality of going with a young group, trusting a young group, whether it's her, whether it's Cameron Taylor on the floor right now, the 2 freshmen. Jordan King not on the floor. As Alston will take it on. Murata takes the contact and scores it +1.
That's the 6th foul that Alston has drawn against a Marquette player so far, as she throws herself into Murata a little bit, knowing Murata was not really set for her defensive positioning, and is able to draw the contact and get it to drop.
Alyssa Alston announced her presence early in this game. Going into the lane, drawing contact. Sits on 15 points. It's her 2nd straight double-figure game and her 10th of the season. Spingola, the lob for Taylor. Taylor can't believe it, but she'll go to the line. Marquette is a team 12 for 18 at the stripe, hovering right around their season average.
It would have been a nice answer for Taylor if she's able to get that 3-point opportunity to drop there.
Megan Duffy's team has delivered what you want as a coach. They were down early, but they've answered everything that St. John's has thrown at them.
One thing that stands out so far in this 3rd quarter is Selena Lott at 16 points in the first half, and haven't heard anything from her offensively so far in this 2nd half.
It's not foul trouble. She's on the floor with 2. Correa, hard contact. And that will be Cameron Taylor's first. So Altia Anderson will get some run here. Murata hands off. Anderson, 8 points. A better than average offensive night for her so far. She averages just under 6 per game. Leilani Correa has come off the bench in all 16 games and hasn't had a problem growing into that role. She's really embraced that bench role, which can be difficult to ask of a player of star caliber like she was. She was a top 50 recruit out of high school, recruited by Louisville, Florida, West Virginia, St. John's. Went to West Virginia initially. Didn't start the semester this past fall. Decided to come closer to home, gained a waiver, and the waiver from the NCAA was important because it allowed her to be eligible immediately, start the season immediately. I think that's what you want to see the waiver program for, when a kid decides, I want to come closer to home. I've made a decision, but I'm not exactly comfortable with it. That's what you want to see.
She's made the most of it.
Chance to be a 6th player of the year in the Big East. That's Taylor with the step inside, uses her length. Taylor now with 9 points as Marquette will take control of the basketball off the St. John's turnover.
Still within range for Marquette here, but I think they want to try to put a few offensive possessions together, try to eat into this St. John's lead.
Marquette is trailed by double digits in this game. That's where they find themselves now with under 3 to play in the 3rd quarter. Lots through the middle. The foul came before the shots. And with each team sitting on 5 fouls, it'll be 2 shots for Selena Lott.
Yeah, it'll be 2 free throws, but Lott, knowing she wants to assert herself a little bit, gets the ball in her hands.
Alston was trying to reach through the screen. Conference here for Brian Anterline, Madge Forsberg, and Bruce Morris.
I'm not sure if they're trying to figure out who was fouled or who committed the foul here.
I think it was pretty clearly Alston who committed the foul. The question will be who maybe goes to the foul line. It was Alston reaching around a screen. Okay. So the call on the floor indicates the basket is good. If it was Alston's foul, it was Alston's foul on the screen that was set by Van Clunen. I'm not sure she made any contact with Selena Lott. If it was outside the arc, and that would just be continuation. But we'll take a look here. So Van Clunen sets the screen. Alston gets a piece of her. They count the basket. Joe Tartamella incredulous. But his team enjoying an 8-point lead, so he can live with it. It'll be Van Clunen at the line, which makes even less sense. So here's the situation. So they count the basket for Lott. The foul, as we stated, was against Van Clunen. So there's no continuation situation. There was just Van Clunen being fouled away from the shot. Still Alston's foul. Nothing changes there. And Van Clunen makes the most of it. So now we're straight.
I always thought that was still 1 free throw, even though if it was away from the...
There were 2 shots.
Yeah, that's...
Common foul outside the arc, and both teams sitting on 5. So it would have been a 2-shot foul anyway. 2.5 to play.
Big swing there.
That's right. Interesting swing, but taking it inside and continuing what they've been doing well is Hoppy. End-to-end Lott to the basket.
Marquette can speed it up when they feel the opportunity is right. And the 2 leading scorers for these 2 teams making things happen.
20 points for Selena Lott. Best performance since November. England, trouble on the dribble, steps on the sideline. Marquette basketball. Turnover number 10 for St. John's, number 5 for Tiana England. For as many good things as she's done tonight, Joe Tartamella is going to circle that stat line tomorrow. Off the foot of England, it'll remain Marquette basketball. Shot clock will go to 20.
The remaining portion of this 3rd quarter will be interesting. Marquette feels like they've been fighting an uphill battle the entire contest, with the ball now down 6.
And off that big swing of 4 points, it's Lubo long on the shot. Neither team has really cooled off in this game. St. John's at 63%, Marquette shooting at 58%. And a timeout for St. John's. Joe Tartamella will slow it down. This was once a 10-point lead in this quarter for the Red Storm. They've led by as many as 12 in this game. This is the kind of performance that you want from your team, the fast start, but in a road game, you're going to expect those ups and downs. It's how you manage them.
All right, I think this is an important timeout here for Coach Tartamella, because his team has an opportunity to extend their lead late in the 3rd quarter, and they don't want to take this possession for granted and commit a turnover. Both teams standing at 10 turnovers so far in the contest.
If there's anything about him, he's got that straightforward, frank New York sensibility. He's not going to mince words. He's direct. He'll tell you what he wants, what he likes, what he doesn't. It's what's made him successful. As he coaches in his 8th season as the head coach, mentioned his 17 seasons as a part of the coaching staff at St. John's. Megan Duffy was once with him on the sideline. She's at the other end for Marquette. Tiana England's had 5 turnovers. 2 to shoot. Trouble for Hoppy. Miscommunication for St. John's. That's a possession they cannot have out of a timeout.
That is rough for a coach to see when that goes down, as it gives an opportunity for Marquette to cut even closer.
The window was a little bit more open. Lots. Three-pointer good. It'll be 2. Foot on the line for Lott. Hoppy will pull it back. Line of defense. Wall set up in front of St. John's. Correa going over top of Lott. No. With the shot clock dwindling down, Correa had the decision to go against Lott. Lott with a crazy shot on the inside. Follow from Spingola. The tide turning in the Al McGuire Center for Marquette. Can St. John's answer? England to her left. England to the inside. Yes! Joe Tartamello wants a foul. St. John's gets the turnover. The shot short at the buzzer. The excitement continues on this Friday night in Milwaukee. Both coaches will get a chance to talk it over, but we've had a good one through 3. St. John's 72, Marquette 68. Fourth quarter coming next.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Welcome back to Al McGuire Center. St. John's leading Marquette 72-69 headed into the fourth quarter. And one of the biggest points of emphasis for the Red Storm headed into this ball game was slowing down Marquette on the boards. At the moment, Marquette leads the league in rebounding with 39 boards a game. On the other hand, St. John's is the worst team in the league when it comes to rebounding, only averaging 34 a game. Red Storm head coach Joe Tartamella says in order to keep the Eagles off the boards, St. John's has to be disciplined with blocking out and being mindful, making contact on box out. At the moment, Marquette only out-rebounding St. John's 21-19.
Joe Tartamella before this game talked about how important rebounding was going to be for his team, going up against the top rebounding team in the Big East in Marquette at almost plus 10 for the season. We had a look at this. Marquette has had a point added back to their total. They now sit on 69. This was ruled 2 on the court. As you can see, it was a 3. Thank you to Madge Forsberg, part of the officiating crew, for the clarification there during the break. You heard from Megan McCune, along with Kyle DeLabe and our fantastic Big East crew in Milwaukee. I'm Patrick Reed. This has been a fun one, and Marquette will turn it over to start quarter number 4. Kyle, the offense has not slowed down. We thought maybe it would. St. John's 9 for 11 shooting from outside. They sit at 61% for the game. They were 7 of 8 at one point in the third quarter. It really hasn't slowed down.
Yeah, they're 10 for 13, and they end up in the third quarter, but they get outscored by Marquette by 1. Marquette goes 10 for 16 from the field.
Correa, the tough take, recovered. And a jump ball. We'll see the possession arrow with St. John's.
Anderson picks up her second block of the game there, second in the conference.
Althea Anderson averaging just over 1.5 per game. She is an impact player at the defensive end for Megan Duffy's team. Correa again on the baseline. Leilani Correa continues to stay tough. So Tartamella has talked about that she's a player that's beyond her years, not only in the way she's embraced her role, but the way she carries herself. Shows no fear, again drawing contact on the inside.
You mentioned earlier, Patrick, about her slow start in the Big East, but you didn't expect that to last, and it hasn't in this game so far, as she's in double figures tonight.
$16 points for Alston. Check that, Correa. St. John's has been good at the line, as you would expect for a team at 76% for the season. Four in double figures for St. John's, 2 for Marquette. Selena Lott, one of them, she has 22 points. Not seen a lot of Jordan King in the second half. 6 to shoot for Marquette. Lott will travel the baseline and score. Selena Lott matches a career high with 24. Hands out from Lubo to prevent the entry pass.
What's been impressive about St. John's is their ability to make their transition offense happen after a made basket. Done that on multiple occasions this evening.
KB with 8 points. England looking for the take, had no room. Nolan for 3, good! 10th 3 for St. John's. Emma Nolan lighting it up from outside.
On just 12 attempts, she's 2 for 2 from three-point range, playing with 4 fouls here with a big one.
Big shot for the freshman Nolan. A lot on the outside. Van Clunen working in deep, will turn and fire on Nolan and score. Good patience from Lauren Van Clunen.
Learning from an earlier situation, when they give her that space, just be calm and do what you can do, and she's able to knock down the shot.
What a night it's been for her, 19 points. Second chance for KB, taken away Van Clunen. Lot around the contact. King all alone, ducks and scores around the defense of Hoppy.
King, a heady play to let the defender blow by, and the Marquette Golden Eagles have moved within just 2 points.
2 points, St. John's lead. Tiana England at the handle. Correa, the take from the left around, King scores. Had the size advantage on Jordan King, did Correa.
Those are the type of plays why Correa is such an impressive player as a freshman, to have the kind of strength to knock down that shot on the baseline and put your team up by 4.
17 for Leilani Correa. Has come to play. Kick out pass. Anderson for Lott in. Three-pointer for Selena Lotz. 27 on 3 of 4 from outside. England, corner, Hoppy, 3, no. Van Clunen the carom. And turns it away from Nolan.
What an impressive evening on the offensive end for Selena Lott. 10 for 13 from the field for 27 points.
That's the Selena Lott Megan Duffy wants to see. The one who will call her own number, the one who will take charge. Has it with 8. Through a lot of contact in the lane. Anderson skied up for the rebound. Nolan comes away. Break for St. John's. Hoppy, the lead pass picked off by Lubo. Norel Lubo, a big-time play. Corner, Lott, 3, no. Correa, the weak side rebound.
Yeah, that was a great look for Lott. Everybody in the building thought it was going to go down, but you have to really commend the way Lubo was able to step into the passing lane on the St. John's fast break and set up her teammate, almost going coast to coast.
Building comes to life. 10 to shoot out of the reach of Hoppy. It'll be Marquette basketball. On the errant St. John's pass, Marquette in a 1-point game has a chance to go ahead. .548 to play in the fourth quarter. Keep your popcorn in hand, enjoy this one. If you don't have any, grab a snack. It'll be an exciting 5 minutes, 42 seconds remaining.
This is what you expect out of Big East Conference action.
Been a good and interesting league early. Van Clunen on the one dribble inside, too strong of the shot. Second chance off the Murata rebound. Murata will go to work inside on Bailey, backs her down and scores. Five points for Chloe Murata.
That was not an easy play for her right there. She stayed with it, stayed patient, and gives Marquette the lead.
Hoppy, 3, strong. King, the rebound. Marquette's only lead in this game came in the early stages of the opening quarter. Around the screen, it's King. King, the entry for Murata. Murata inside, Van Clunen. Travel against Van Clunen. And turnover, number 13 for Marquette. But Marquette finally enjoying a lead since the early stages. Chloe Murata, her big moment, has put Marquette up a point.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men, for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, metropolitan, and global university. We're at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men, for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
Selena Lott, the story for Marquette. 28 points, 12 of them in the second half, has helped turn what was once a 12-point St. John's lead, a double-digit lead here in the second half, into Marquette's advantage for the first time since the early stages. Kyle, Marquette has taken advantage of St. John's starting to cool off, shooting the basketball and finding success in the offensive end.
At some point, you knew the three-point percentage was going to drop just slightly. They're still 10 for 14 from three-point range, but 1 for 3 in the quarter. And Marquette can continue to shoot well as they're at over 60% from the field in the second half.
Marquette has pounded St. John's in the paint, 42 points, where they have found their success. Hoppe on the take, score the basket. Okudesha Hoppe.
A big-time answer for St. John's as Hoppe, 19 points for her, as the player you expect it to make it happen for St. John's when they need a basket to go down. She does that and possibly more here.
That is a big-time basket. Hoppe continues her good play in the Big East season. Preseason all-conference selection. Now double figures in 15 games. Off the hands of Hoppe. St. John's try to save it. It'll be Marquette basketball. England has hands up, and so does Kadeja Bailey. We thought it should be St. John's ball.
And that all happened so quickly. I'd have to see a replay to know exactly what went down there as it bounded off a few players.
Well, big players come to play in this game. Hoppe has done that. Lott has done that, both over 20 points. They've been there when their teams have needed them. Now it's Lott again. Loses the handle on the baseline. Taken away by England. England in tights. Bailey had problems there. Couldn't get an angle to the basket. Now it's Lubo with a take from end to end. First points for Narelle Lubo. And then Marquette will take it on the turnover. Lott with the left hand, no. Van Clunen hands on the basketball. There's a foul.
Wow, it's been quite the entertaining game so far. Just so much back and forth, and Lubo playing with a ton of confidence, been able to hit that shot to tie the game, and then Lott with the turnover, unable to knock down her wild shot.
You saw the hands there for Lott. That is why she was recruited to this Marquette program, has morphed from a defensive presence to an offensive leader. A career high 28 points tonight in her 36 minutes.
Yeah, one thing to watch here is a lot of fouls to give with 3:39 left to play here in the fourth. Whoever gets the lead, the opponent is probably going to have to foul a couple times possibly, but something to watch a little bit down the road.
England's foul was her third of the game, the first for St. John's in the quarter, as Kyle alluded to. Hands of KB in front of Lott. 7 to shoot. Van Clunen looking for the entry, will call her own number, working around Nolan. Wild shot, no. Reaching for it, Alston to come up with the board to Correa. Desperate reach from Alyssa Alston. Secure the basketball for her team. They look for their fourth Big East win after winning the first 3 in conference play. In an 82-82 game, it's Hoppe. It was off the top of the stanchion, but Hoppe will go to the line. Third against Murata, third team foul against Marquette in the fourth quarter.
Murata's been big in this one, though, for Marquette. 6 rebounds, 5 points.
Murata's off the floor. Okudesha Hoppe at the foul line. 18 points against Georgetown, 14 against Villanova, now 21 against Marquette. Make it 22. Had a run of 4 straight 20-point games early this season, now breaking back into that threshold. Under 3 to go, 2-point St. John's lead. Van Clunin, as Marquette has 44 paint points, goes to work. Anderson swims left and gets the roll. It's been a good offensive game for Althea Anderson, who has 10.
Yeah, just 1 rebound for her, but you mentioned the double figures, big time for Anderson.
The big-time players have come to play in this game. Alston around Lubo's defense. Hoppy, 3-pointer off. St. John's has just not shot the basketball as well in the fourth quarter, 3 of 9. Both teams up over 55% for the game. Lots through the contact. Anderson. Althea Anderson. The give from Lott continues her big nights.
Wow, that's her 7th assist to go along with those 28 points.
Timeout, St. John's. St. John's has had some frustration with the officiating in this quarter, but Marquette has taken advantage of what's been given to them inside the paint. 48 points for Marquette of their 86 have come inside the lane.
Yeah, St. John's has not given up this many points a lot this season. This is an impressive offensive effort by Marquette on their home floor for the first time in Big East play. A tough start to the Big East season for Marquette. 3 games on the road and 5 games against the top 5 teams in the preseason coaches poll for the conference.
It's been a process to handle the schedule that they were dealt early in this season. Marquette playing just the 3 games so far as they played their rival DePaul in the opener on December 29th before the calendar rolled over to 2020. A loss to DePaul on the road by 18 points, a loss at Creighton by 10, a win over Providence by 10. The ledger for Marquette during play tonight. Kaby, baseline, left side, blocked by Lubo. It'll be a foul to negate the block. And it's Lubo's 3rd.
And Kaby going baseline, able to draw the contact as the ball hits the rim as she went up with it. Now she has a chance to tie the game.
We know
Contact
Kaby knows
coming there by Lubo.
To get to the hole, sitting on 990 career points. It may not be that night to hit the milestone, but if St. John's can walk out of the Al McGuire Center with a win, she'll be just as happy. She hits 1 of 2. England will leave, Alston will return. To give the Red Storm a defensive boost as she goes to work on Lubo. Lubo, the freshman, facing the redshirt senior Alston. Final 80 seconds. Lott, count it!
A great feed into Lott, and she's able to finish with the contact. Anderson with a beautiful pass as she repays the great pass that Lott made to Anderson just a little bit ago.
30 points for Selena Lott. Marquette sticking to the script. Anderson with a big offensive board. With time ticking down. 70 seconds left. Lubo can take her time, but now has 8. It's Lott. Bounce pass. Anderson through contact foul. That'll be the 3rd foul of the quarter for St. John's. And Kaby's 4th.
Surprised that Lott made the pass that late in the shot clock. I thought she was going to put one up, but Anderson is I'd say, at least a little bit fortunate to get that foul call in this situation, as it looked like she was going to not have a good look at the basket.
It's all part of the script that Marquette has had since the second quarter. Go to the paint, draw contact, score and make things happen in the dirty areas. One minute remaining. St. John's has led by as many as 12. Out of the reach of Hoppy, Marquette basketball. For 3 quarters, everything was right for this Red Storm team. The fourth is where it is turned. Marquette has shot 9 of 14. There's Lott alone. Timeout, St. John's. Marquette celebrating a 32 night for Selena Lotz.
Another big time play by Marquette to be able to set up such an easy look for Lott down low, and she knows exactly what to do with it. Lubo playing very well down the stretch here. Spingola finds a wide open Lott, and I think St. John's was starting to look to foul there, as they still have 1 to give here with 46 seconds left to play, but couldn't do it before Marquette got the easy one to go up by 7, and things are looking a little bit dire now for the St. John's Red Storm.
And what we saw in that replay, ball sharing for Marquette, 26 assists on 35 made field goals. They came into this game with assists on 71% of their made buckets this season. So that has been a real positive and a real boon for Megan Duffy's team to share and score.
Yeah, 26 assists to 14 turnovers. You can live with that sort of ratio, most definitely, if you're Marquette.
Coach Duffy is locked in. Coach Tartamella's team needs an answer now. It's England off the high pass from Nolan. Her pass across is wayward for a Marquette ball.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see how things have played out for St. John's in the late stages of this one.
Red Storm have a couple of fouls to give. Alston will commit one there.
It's going to be hard to take for St. John's because of the way this trip always sets up with DePaul on the other end.
St. John's has put 85 on the board. DePaul, one of the finest scoring teams in the nation at almost 87 points per game. That should be an offensive showcase in Chicago Sunday. Meanwhile, Marquette will be back here against Seton Hall for a Sunday showdown. And we will have that for you, of course, right here on the Big East Digital Network.
Lott continues to add to her career high. Anderson has a career high, 14 points as well.
Nine-point lead for Marquette. St. John's has been out of sorts. Joe Tartamella standing at his sideline with hands on hips. It's exactly what he wanted to see over the first 3 quarters of this game. But then Selena Lott happened. She carries to the front court with a differential of 6 seconds between the shot and game clock. 34 points, her previous career best 24. She scored in back-to-back games to start the season against Morgan State and St. Francis, New York. Spingola into the shot clock. It's blocked out of bounds. Really good win for Megan Duffy's team to hang in when things were tough. Mentioned a 12-point St. John's lead in the second quarter. It was a 10-point lead in the third quarter.
You think about some of the close games they've had so far this year, Northwestern, Mississippi State, those get them ready for games like tonight.
That's why you schedule those games. Selena Lutz, what a night for her. Marquette celebrates its first Big East win at home and its first Big East game of the season. Selena Lutz, 34 points for Marquette in a thriller in Milwaukee. We're back after this.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was gonna spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Back and take the lead with under 4 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. What does the performance tonight say about your team's toughness?
It's all mental toughness. Our coach, she prepared us all practice, like the last 3 practices actually, that it was going to be tough against them. We were going to have to run and play like a hell of a defense too.
And she talked about how you were going to have to step up and score the ball. 34 points for you tonight. What were you seeing defensively when you read that allowed you to be so effective getting to the rim?
Honestly, whenever it was a media timeout or a timeout, my coaches would just tell me what I had, and then I just listened to them and just took it.
You finally get a win at home in Big East play. How important was it to set the tone at home for the conference play?
We haven't played in a while at home, so we knew we had to get a dub.
Thanks, Lena. Thank you.
You know that felt good for Selena Lott tonight as her team rallied back for a 9-point win over St. John's. 34 points for Lott, a big reason why Marquette now has win number 2 in Big East play under its belt and its first inside the Al McGuire Center this season. It was a thriller tonight, an offensive showcase for St. John's and Marquette, but the Golden Eagles rallying back with a big fourth quarter, 25 points in the fourth for Marquette to walk away 94-85 winners over St. John's. Marquette's 2-2 in the Big East, St. John's 3-2. For Megan McCune and Kyle Dolabe and our fantastic Big East crew in Milwaukee, I'm Patrick Reed saying so long on the Al McGuire Center. Marquette a winner tonight over St. John's.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.